Okay. All right, we're going to call order this 1,417th regular meeting of the Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District Board of Directors. We get a blessed from the pledge first. Ralph, will you lead us?
Please do. Please stand and join me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Jake, you roll.
Chair Mouse.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Carhart.
here.
Director Irwin.
Here.
Director O'Farrell.
Here.
Director Tamani. Here. All present.
We'll start off with a couple of presentations. The first of the Rachel Ann Gray Memorial Scholarship winners.
Good evening, Board of Directors, ladies and gentlemen. We are very honored to present all of the winners of this year's Rachel Ann Gray Scholarship. The scholarship was established in 2012 in honor of Rachel Ann Gray, who was a beloved member of the community. She passed away at the age of 21. She was a member of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board from the years 2006 to 2008, and she made a very large impact on the young leaders of Fair Oaks, her community, and as well as the staff with the Park District. She really loved being outside, running, working with the community, and living life to the fullest. So the scholarship was set forth in 2014, and it has provided over $35,000 to 47 students in Fair Oaks. Jump right into it. Forgot to introduce myself. Thanks, Chelsea. My name is Mary Stokely. I am the current Youth Advisory Board member, as well as current advisor of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board, as well as a recreation coordinator with the district.
And I'm Chelsea Adams, Recreation Supervisor and previous Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board Advisor.
All right, and on to the awards. I apologize, again, a little hasty. All right, so our first recipient is Maya Chisholm. Maya is a senior at Casa Roble High School. She is a part of the SCORE Medical Assistance Program, the HOSA Club, and National Honor Society. She plays volleyball and basketball and enjoys serving in various leadership roles at her church. Maya has been accepted to Brigham Young University Provo, and she plans to start school there in the fall to pursue a major in nursing. Congratulations, Maya.
Okay, next up, this one's special to me because he went in junior FOIA, Mr. Gavin Spots. Gavin is a senior at Bella Vista High School. He's been a part of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board for 4 years, serving his final term as the programming officer. Throughout his time in FOIA, Gavin has volunteered at the Orangeville Food Bank and American River Parkway cleanup, as well as numerous other FOIA events. After high school, he plans to attend a CSU to pursue a career as either an aviator or an architect. Some of his special interests include skateboarding, film, and producing music. Congratulations, Gavin.
Our next recipient of the $1,000 level is Lauren Manarino. Lauren has also been a member of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board since she was in junior high. She is currently a senior at Bella Vista High School. She's serving her second term as secretary for the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board. She will be attending Sacramento State in the fall as an undeclared major. She was accepted into the General Education Honors Program and is looking forward to advancing her education and deciding on a major that she's passionate about. She plans to rush a sorority based on their philanthropy in order to continue serving those around her and bring a positive light to the community. Congratulations.
Next up, we have Ernesto Tellez Perez. Ernesto is a senior at Bella Vista High School. He's currently on the track team for his 3rd year, and he has competed in cross country for 2 years. Ernesto has been a team captain for long distance track and cross country over the past year. After high school, he plans to go to a community college before transferring to a 4-year university. He ultimately wants to study computer science and work on developing artificial intelligence. Congratulations, Ernesto.
Right, and our final recipient of the $1,500 award is Jordan Bickle. Jordan is a senior at Del Campo High School. Currently, she serves as the student body president, as well as the president of the California Scholarship Federation at her school. She spends a lot of her free time volunteering with a club on campus called Helping Hands, in which she serves as vice president as well. Her plans after high school are currently still up in the air as she awaits acceptance from a few different schools, but Jordan plans to study political science and minor in psychology to eventually become a criminal law attorney. And just as a final note, I know I speak for Chelsea and all of us at district staff. It's always such an honor to get to meet and see all of these incredible applicants. We always get reminded of how bright our future is when we get to meet these students and see all of the wonderful things that they're going to accomplish. So congratulations to all of you.
And we would like to take a group photo with you and the recipient. Okay,
Sure.
take a quick
Yeah.
photo right there.
Sure.
Cool. Recipients, if you want to come forward.
We can squeeze together.
Yes.
Yeah, own your seat too.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Let the people know what you got.
Exactly.
We'll stick our heads over your shoulders.
Jordan, yeah, perfect, and then perfect. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Incredible young people. I wish we had a lot more money because they know books and tuition costs these days.
Yes, congratulations to you all. That is awesome. Okay, moving on to our second presentation of the evening, and that is to Family Free Ride. It's CPRS Champion of the Community.
All right, good luck to you all.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll wait till they exit. All right. Good evening, board directors. Nick Davison, recreation manager. It's my opportunity to recognize a group, and more specifically a member of our community tonight that received an award through CPRS District 2. So CPRS stands for California Parks and Recreation Society. District 2 is the region of California that we fall in. It's the largest region of CPRS. And they have an award called Champion of the Community. Champion of the Community is an award given to an outstanding public service of support of Parks Make Life Better branding campaign. Recipients are chosen based on their significant effort to influence and improve the quality of their community through parks and recreation community service. This award is intended for individuals who are not employed in the parks and recreation profession. There we go. The winner of the Champion of the Community for 2022 was Garrett McDermott. Garrett McDermott is the president of Family Free Ride, which is a nonprofit group dedicated to getting kids on bikes and providing safe and fun opportunities for them to ride their bikes. Garrett has been instrumental in the development of the bike park, as well as the expansion and the maintenance of the Fairhouse Bike Park. A few of his contributions, I mentioned the maintenance. The maintenance of the bike park is a huge task, and unfortunately, in-house we aren't able to keep it as high a level as it needs to be. So that's where Garrett and his volunteers step in. They do an incredible job keeping that bike park maintained and enjoyable for the community to ride in. They organize monthly volunteer meetups to do maintenance at the park, and that's inviting kids and adults out to come on out there. And then he also does what's called Free Ride Fridays, Free Ride Fridays, which is group rides where kids and families can come out and enjoy a safe ride led by either Garrett or some of his family volunteers. Annually, typically in May, which is Bike Month, Garrett Family Free Ride put on a kids' bike festival where kids get to showcase their skills on bikes. And they have vendors, and then also they do races, group rides, and plenty more. But a bunch of fun stuff out there. If you haven't been at the bike festival, it's an awesome festival. Ever since Garrett took over the bike festival, he's just made it a really great event for the community. And then they also participate in the Christmas in Fair Oaks, and they do a holiday bike ride, which is a really popular attraction and activity for people to do in December. Kids and adults light up their bikes with Christmas-themed lights, and they do a parade through the community and through the park. And in 2022, Garrett led an education session at the CPRS District 2 Fall Forum. That education session was on, it was called Building Bike Parks and Pump Tracks, a Collaborative Approach, educating recreational professionals on how to collaborate with parks and recreation departments to implement and maintain bike parks. And then one thing he's been doing recently, or fairly recently, is movie nights. He's had a couple movie nights held at the VFW, inviting bike enthusiasts out to the evening to enjoy watching a film, whether it be professional production or even some, amateur productions as well. So just I'd like to say thank you so much for Garrett for his contributions, and it's really a pretty impressive award to win. I'm thinking it's not just a Fair Oaks award, this is a District 2-wide community award, pretty much the majority of Northern California from Galt up to the Northern Oregon border, minus a slice of the West Coast coastal region there. So congratulations to Garrett, thank you for all you do, I really appreciate it.
I want to say thanks to staff and to all the board for allowing me to be a partner of the organization. We couldn't have done it without the support of everyone here, so thank you very much.
Garrett, thank you, because we wouldn't be here recognizing you without your diligence and your bulldoggedness about getting things done.
For sure.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Garrett.
Okay, we'll move along to audience and public comment on any non-agenda item. This is when any person may address the board on any subject within the jurisdiction of the Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District. Each speaker would be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Any matter requiring board action will be referred to staff or committee for a report and action at a subsequent meeting. Do we have any comment? Okay. Moving on to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. And now we are moving on to the consent calendar. And we have a number of items on the consent calendar, but all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board of directors to be routine and will be acted upon in a single motion. There will not be a separate discussion of any of these items unless the request is made prior to the time of the board considers a motion to approve. A motion to approve the consent calendar.
I just want to make one clarification if I could. I know I sent you all an email, but the draft minutes that I initially sent you last Friday had a few corrections, and I made those and re-uploaded them. So the minutes that you have now in your packet are correct.
Excellent.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Which will bring us to our agenda items. Agenda item 8.1 with the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board report.
Hello, I'm Navya, and I'm the current chair of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board. our March meeting took place last Tuesday, March 7th. And at the meeting, we had our annual adult egg hunt gift card donations by the members. We signed up for the Easter extravaganza, and we had our officer elections, which were very fun. As for updates on our service groups, we volunteered at the Orangefield Range at the $5 breakfast this past Sunday. The Food Bank Committee, which is actually Lauren and Gavin's committee, they just won the award, they have their next date on April 19th, and the Parks Cleanup Group is working towards their first meetup. Right now, the event that we're looking forward to is the Easter extravaganza, and we're very glad that we've had a success in terms of part. Thank you.
What was the last event we're working towards?
Our upcoming event is the Easter extravaganza.
Are you president again?
Yes.
Congratulations. Is this your third term?
Yeah, so it's not my third term as chair, it's just my third term as an officer. Last year, I was the vice chair, and then this term was my first term as chair.
And this will be your second term.
Yeah, next year. At least.
Thank you for everything you do. Okay, which is up to agenda item 8.2, discussion and possible action on approval of the addition of seasonal recreational coach to our salary schedule.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Larkin, the Administrative Services Manager for the district. This item is a request to add a position to our salary schedule. The position is, as you said, a seasonal recreation coach, which will be paid not at an hourly rate, but by stipend, depending on the number of weeks that the program lasts. So basically, the initial use of this position is going to be an after-school soccer program in collaboration with San Juan Unified. It will be a month-long program. The stipend will be $500. And if this is successful, the rec staff is going to look to expand this into other sports programs after school. In the past, we would have filled this role probably with contracting with an independent contractor, but with AB 5, which is the legislation that was passed back in 2019, using independent contractors has become a little more challenging. There's an ABC test that has 3 conditions in order to consider somebody as an independent contractor, and in this case, we would not meet those criteria. So there are some costs related to this kind of a position, which are just basically the same costs that we would have with hiring any staff person. There's the amount that we're paying. There's a DOJ background check, which we require of all of our employees. There are some payroll taxes, including Social Security, unemployment, and Medicare, CPR certification if they're not certified, and so all of those things do add up to, I think, 6 or 7% of the total amount of the salary. But on the other hand, the district, if it were an independent contractor relationship, would only get a 30% portion of the registration revenue. So in this case, we would be paying the employee and keeping 100% of the registration revenue. And so we are looking to add this to the salary schedule and move forward with putting that program in place this spring, if possible.
It seems necessary. I have a couple of questions. We do a background check on independent employers also, so that's not an additional cost.
Well, they pay their own fees.
Oh, they do.
If they're independent contractors. For employees, we pay the fees.
And then what's the process for determining the stipend? Because if we expand this, each stipend will be a little.
It's based on the number of weeks of the program. So I don't think that they have looked at anything other than this particular instance right now, but we would certainly, it wouldn't be, I can't imagine more than 500.
So if you determine a stipend and then very few people sign up for the class, you still get the same stipend?
If the class runs, yeah. We'd have to meet a threshold.
Yeah, we hit that minimum number that we determined prior to hiring the individual, and then if that's not it, it's just like anything else, there's just no work available.
Yeah, they get paid at the end of the program.
And it seems like this, we have to do this by the court and by the law, so why aren't we, it's just a test on this first one, and then we do plan to move ahead on other positions.
Yeah, things that fall into the
Yeah, it's possible we may, if this model works, we may utilize it for different positions. This is a model we've actually got from a different park district that's done this program in San Juan Unified School District. So we're not necessarily recreating the will on it. We're just trying to implement it here and assess its value.
Mission Oaks Recreation Park District is currently using this model, and we basically are doing exactly what they're doing.
And I think what we'll see in instructors and in programs that we provide, there's going to be three things that will happen. One, we may self-operate it. Maybe something we just do with internal staff. Number two is it might be the stipend program that now you're talking about. Or three, we still could go to that percentage option, depending on how it fits in the ABC. And that's, all of those gives us the flexibility to do programs that we believe the community needs.
So just out of curiosity, like all the programs that would fall under this specific umbrella, how much revenue did that bring into the park district last year total?
We didn't have this program last year. This is a new,
Okay,
a
so
new
this
program.
is all brand new.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you anticipate, or do you have an estimate of what the revenue would be in terms of comparing it to, like you said, that with the independent contractor, there's like a 30% cut, so it's 70%.
I don't know. I'm not sure what, I can find that out from.
So for the agreement, which hasn't been signed yet, we would get $125 for per student at Northridge Elementary School that enrolls in the soccer program. It's through the ELL program, for the language learning program. So San Juan Unified School District has funds set aside just for these students to participate in programs. So they came to us, hoping we'd offer the program for their students. So yeah, we don't know how many exactly enrollees we'll get. I believe there's around 65 kids that are in the ELL program over there. So it will be that we get there.
Is that just open for San Juan Unified District? You have to be part of them to enroll.
It is, yeah. And they will open it up to non-ELL students to filter into them. So
But it'll be a program at Northridge.
that's correct. Yeah, there'll be a 4 weeks of skills, and then it will finish with a tournament amongst other schools, both high school.
That's good. Any other questions? I can go ahead and make a motion that we approve an additional seasonal recreational coach to the salary schedule.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's on to item 8.3, discussion and possible action on approval of policy updates, diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, technology asset management policy, and cybersecurity policy.
It's me again, Jennifer Larkin, Administrative Services Manager. And these policies are actually new policies. Do not currently have any of these in place. We did review these with the Policy Review Committee, which is Director Carhart and Director Mounds. And we can start with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Policy, which I'm just going to call DEI. So that is really, you'll notice that the policy is very general. It's essentially a statement of the district's commitment to maintaining a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace. Actual specifics and mechanics of how that works are outlined in the Personnel Policy Manual. Most organizations and businesses now have a DEI policy in place. We need to get that in place for us as well. Do you want me to go through them all, or do you want any questions on that one?
Ralph and
I asked a lot of questions in the committee about the cybersecurity policy, and they were addressed pretty well by staff. I didn't notice any changes to that policy. The other two are pretty straightforward. They're important to have policies on these. So, and by transparency, Karen had to leave, so I was the only one on the committee that reviewed it, but I would recommend to the board.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 8.4, discussion and possible action on approval of an agreement in landscape architectural consulting with Wilson Design Studio Landscape Architecture.
Thank you and good evening. This request or this agenda item is for outreach and a master plan and for the development of Phoenix Park, primarily the open space that is undeveloped there. It's about a quarter of the park. Wilson Design Studios is a Sacramento-based landscape architect firm. The principal, the owner, actually lives in Folsom, very familiar with Fair Oaks. They've got one of their other landscape architects is a past Parks and Recreation director for Folsom for 15 years. Very familiar with the area, familiar with Parks and Recreation and park planning. I'm feeling very comfortable with this group and their skill set. They've done numerous projects around this area in different park districts. It's in my board report there about what park districts they have done similar projects for, but it's in a short, it's City of Davis, Auburn, Carmichael, Cordova, Rancho Cordova, and Southgate. So they've got a lot of background and they've done very similar projects and they're familiar with the project. They also will help us with our Land and Water Conservation Fund. I've talked with them and we're doing a lot of that work internally, the Land and Water Conservation Fund work. They're going to help with our review of that before we submit it. That's helping fund, hopefully that would, if we get that money, it'll help fund this development of the project, and we'll be matching up with some Measure J money. And primarily our Measure J money will be for those parking developments of that project and for the overall park. Because that was part of the bond language of Measure J, that we provide additional parking at Phoenix Park. So we're combining these two things and maximizing, hopefully, Measure J money with Land and Water Conservation Fund money. But before we do any of that, we have to have a master plan for the facility. And so we're doing a lot of things simultaneously, and getting this master plan done is one of the key elements of that. You'll see that it's a not to exceed amount of $48,500 in the staff report. And if you'll look at the attachment, there was an adjustment because we are doing part of the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. So it is down to $38,500. I am asking for the authority to leave it at $48,500 because I'm going to try and do the entire park as a master plan during this time instead of just that parcel. That would allow us to then potentially apply for other funding sources for the rest of the park. If it goes above $48,500, I would have to come back to you. So even though in the attachment you're seeing $38,500, I would request that you remain in your motion at $48,500. So that gives us the flexibility of going to them to potentially do a full master plan for the park. It may take us a little bit longer, but I think we have the time frame to do that. I have not talked to the architectural firm to do that about that. So it would be me basically negotiating with them to say, can you do that within the $48,500 price that the board has approved? So that's what.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One, I noticed in their contract that if there's engineering and other specialties required, that's in addition to this. With the soil problems on the bald spot there, the anticipation of whether we would have their engineers look into that, or is it dependent on what we do with the location?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It depends on what we do with that area. That is a component that we're aware of, and we have done an engineering review of it already. So that is done. It then becomes there probably be some other tweaks in that engineering when we actually do start doing the construction documents for that, whatever that plan is. This is just the plan. So you're not going to see construction documents. You're not going to see, those types of things yet. But we have to have it in the master plan. And then if the master plan is approved, funding becomes available, then we start developing those construction plans.
So it's very important in the process, two things, that the outreach meetings allow for some adjustments.
Yes.
Also that just like with our bond projects, I've been a registered landscape architect for almost 50 years now. You should see my number compared to his. I intend to look at how they're developing this and, offer my thoughts. It's up to them to do this, but watched this park since its inception, and I do have some ideas. So will there be a process where the board can also, have some input that will be addressed?
Yeah, we went back to them on, they proposed, their initial proposal did not include the board, but we did add the board to that. The proposal for services from Wilson Landscape, yes.
And if I recall, I mean, that was something I think I brought up either the last meeting before that when we did discuss that we would have, or have a large component of that.
Correct.
At our meeting or something, someone workshopped it out as
Well, but the other thing is that, I mean, we want the community to weigh in as well.
Yeah.
So that's,
we have those meetings.
I understand that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a process that is going to involve us as well as the community as well.
And the stakeholders and staff, yes, all four of those elements are, critical to a good plan for that site.
Mike's referring to Robert Goss, who is the Parks Director up there and also the Community Development Director. If you've been up to Folsom and you've seen what they've done up there, I mean, it's all first rate.
I think though, too, with this, because we might not see the whole thing come to fruition, what do you think?
If we get the grant.
If we get the grant, though. But if we don't get the grant.
Yeah, it could be a few years. I hope not 10. I would hope within the next 3 to 5.
Even if we don't get the grant, we'll have a picture based on all the input of what our vision for that park's ultimate development is, rather than just, reacting to individual things that pop up and trying to squeeze them into the park somewhere. That's the advantage of a physical master.
See how many grant you get it? 5 million?
Grant 5 million?
What is it?
Oh, gosh, now I don't have that figure in front of me. Sean, you have that, you've been working on it.
Well, I guess my point just with that is that I hope that it is a future thinking plan, because I thought when I came on the board and we were starting to look at the plan that you all created for the park 10, 15 years ago, there was a lot of stuff now that had to be changed, a lot of money that had to spend in the plan. So I just hope that we can all look forward and not just right now to create a good plan that really will come to fruition and won't have to have so much change.
I think one of the first things you do is look at the uses that have been proposed for the park and then other needs that are coming down the line. Make sure you have a complete list of potential additions to the park, and then you decide if some of those just aren't desired by the community, aren't needed, and then you focus then on the things that you can and prioritize those. Obviously, the bald spot is our number one priority right now, is to add additional parking perhaps.
Yeah, parking.
One of the problems with a lot of these contracts I've seen is if you have too much input from the community or the board, you wind up with a lot of extra charges for another plan to be done and all of that. So as long as they understand there's going to be, it's important to have this give and take and not be billed extra for it.
Yeah, that's, if we get that not to exceed 48.5, that anything that has to, beyond that, would have to come back to you and be justified.
Sounds good. Well, I'm glad we're doing this.
The idea is to give the entire park then for an extra basically 10,000.
Yeah, exactly. And the most expensive part of this whole thing is those community outreaches. And so when the community comes into the door to give us their input, I think it makes a lot of sense just to do the whole park. And it doesn't increase the cost substantially. Now, the drawings and everything else, yes, that takes more time. But to have the public come in and say, do you want this many soccer fields? Do you like the way the traffic flows? Do you like, all these other things that the overall master plan should incorporate? It's not that much more work as you're already there. It's the drawings and the preparations for the master plan that would increase the cost.
It's the thought and the program that goes into it that's important. If you're just dealing with a specific part of the site, you don't know how that will interact with the rest of the site. So it's important at least to have a rudimentary idea of what that park will look like in 30, 40 years.
Yeah. So the staff work on the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. It has a lot of benefit. The fact that it gives us more skill sets in applying for grants. And number two is it allows us to do a full master plan, hopefully, for Phoenix Bowl.
It requires we do that.
Yeah. Well, it actually is only required for that component. The grant is. But as long as that component is in the overall master plan, we're fine.
And I think most of our board members were around when we had the previous don't know if they were hearings, but outreach, and we had issues from some of the neighbors with lighting and other
Yeah.
things that all shake out too. I'm glad we're doing this. Do we need a, I was just gonna see if we need permission.
I have a question. Why did you pick them? And did you talk to any others?
I have not talked to any others.
Okay.
We have a good firm. I believe we have a good firm. We have one that has a lot of knowledge. I am familiar with them through Robert Goss, who I had talked to before he retired and was familiar with his work, and then he told me he was working with them. They came out and visited on the site, and we discussed just the parking initially. This is a few years back before the pandemic, and liked what they gave in terms of the product and how they represented themselves and what they were doing. And so with that being said, it didn't seem to make much sense to interview other entities to do that. And we know the other entities, we've worked with them on other projects, happy with them, but I don't want to say it necessarily spreads the love out a little, but it does give us a different vision than the firms that we've been using in the past.
So I would just invite the staff as well as the board to be thinking about amenities that we'd like to see in that park, so that when they're on board, we can hit the ground running to give them some input on it, so they're not just, pulling stuff out of the air.
Yeah, and you had that opportunity in a special meeting where we did that little workshop on that, and we shared with you some of the staff ideas, and you added additional ideas, including like the disc golf course and things like that. And we have now put those into that full presentation that we will hand over to Wilson Design, and they can then incorporate that into their open house or their outreach. And so it'll be part of the overall outreach. Doesn't mean it's all going to fly, but it'll be part of the outreach.
We're speaking of the workshop on the 7th of the month.
Correct.
Just our special board meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but you'll still have another opportunity, obviously, before you approve a master plan.
Yeah. The whole board may have some ideas.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
I'd be happy to move the staff recommendation to authorize the district administrator to enter into a service agreement with Wilson Design Studio Landscape Architects for a master plan for Phoenix Park, including community outreach, park master planning, grant package development.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 8.5, discussion and possible action regarding adoption of 3 resolutions directing preparation of the engineer's report for the Fair Oaks Recreation Maintenance and Recreation Improvement District, Phoenix Field Landscape and Lighting Assessment District, and the Gum Ranch Landscape and Lighting Assessment District.
This is mine again, Jennifer Larkin, Administrative Services Manager. You're all very familiar with this process by now, but this is the first step in the annual assessment for each of our different LNLs. Adopting these resolutions will allow the engineers to begin their work on their draft reports, which you will receive in June for approval, and then in July there's a public hearing allowing the public to come and speak on the assessment rates, and then once those are adopted, they move on the tax rolls for next fiscal year 2023-2024.
Just one quick question. How long has SCI been doing this for us?
Since as long as I've worked here, I mean, 10 years or more. Yeah. We did go out for RFP a few years ago, and they were the only respondees. I think a lot of other engineering firms were put off because they knew we already worked with SCI.
Also,
They know us inside and out really well.
They do. They've done.
But I think at some point we need to open the door again.
Good motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nice and simple. Okay, let's move on to board staff reports, items from the board of directors. We'll start with you, Director Carhart.
I don't have anything specific, but I have been talking to Mike about looking at some kind of outreach on how the community and our community partners, what their vision is once the new facilities are in place. I know we've had consultants come in and stuff, but when I talk to community partners and stuff, they kind of don't know where we're going with this. But I'd like to solicit from the community, what is it they want to do in the village? What kind of arts and entertainment do they want to see? Do they want to see little things every week, something happening every week? And specifically what kind of things they like? I think that would help us as we move forward. We still have a year before we open the facilities, and that would also address the uncertainty that's out there among community partners and stuff, whether they'll have a place in the future. I think it would be good. We're the model of transparency and the model of outreach, thanks to Mike and our staff, and I think that would be some outreach that would be beneficial, whether it's a survey or whether it's all a meeting. But it's important to get different sectors of the community, the youths, the seniors, community partners, and see what their vision is. I think each one of us has a different vision, probably different from Mike and the staff and everybody, so it'd be nice to see if we're all on the same page. So that was my contribution to the process. That's it for me.
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
No. Well, the only thing that I just driving around, I see all these trees and just I'm wondering, how, I know Miller Park's not faring all that great, but I'm sure Sean probably is going to address some of that stuff. Staff report, but it's a ton of extra work. I mean, these storms have been crazy. So other than that, I don't have anything else, so we can move on to items from staff.
Well, with that, I'll go ahead and let Sean go first. I'm sure he can answer this, and I think he has one other thing as well.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Sean Ventura, Parks and Facilities Manager. And Director Mounts, I will comment on your comment first. Yeah, we are experiencing some loss with our trees. This last storm had several large branches down and a couple of trees, nothing like that first one, thankfully. It is a heck of a lot of extra work. The staff is kicking butt on it and working really around the clock, really. We're managing it as best we can, and I've got an outside arborist coming in, hopefully sometime soon, but every arborist I know right now is absolutely slammed with all the work they've got throughout the city. So he's coming in. We're going to talk about the health of some of our trees. We're seeing a lot of root rot in the trees that do come down, which is part of the problem. It's a symptom of overwatering when trees are planted in areas that are irrigated, among other things. That's kind of an oversimplification, but to hopefully alleviate that, I'm going to try and get an arborist into the tree canopy where we can't really reach, like on the hillside over at Miller, where that last tree came down that you're aware of. Reducing some end weight, clearing out dead wood, hopefully make this a problem that doesn't repeat in the future. But we'll see what he says. He was out there today taking a look at some of our trees, and I hope to have answers on that fairly soon. On an unrelated note, I will be attending the Sunrise Recreation and Park District's Board of Directors meeting tomorrow to hopefully gain a parcel of land that is within our district. It was a parcel of land that got missed during a process that occurred in the district some years ago when Sunrise and Fair Oaks changed their boundaries. They gave us a number of parcels over by Manana and Gum Ranch. One was missed, however, and we've started the process, and hopefully we'll finish it very, very soon, of getting a final piece of land that will enable us to guarantee access and an exit from Gum Ranch. It's less than, I'd say, a quarter of an acre, less than a tenth of an acre maybe, but it's kind of pivotal towards ensuring access to Gum Ranch Park to pedestrians. So heading out there tomorrow. I don't see any opposition to getting this parcel of land, and we'll see what the future brings to us once we have it.
Sean, can I throw in a thought about the trees? Because you've addressed the structure of a lot of trees. It's a big problem with the old oaks and stuff. One of the looming problems we have in Sacramento is the planting of trees that aren't appropriate here. Number one, the redwoods that are growing up around town are posing a potential danger in the future. They put up a great sail for wind, and our soil for trees like that, or deodar cedars or Italian stone pines, they're used to being footed in some pretty good soil. We've got a Whitney fine sandy loam, which is kind of like a clay. And when it gets saturated, it can't support the sail on trees like this. And I look at the skyline around town, around Sacramento, and I just see the looming problem. It points up the importance when we do plant trees and when we have landscape architects pick them, that we need to look at that as a very important aspect.
Director Carhart, I couldn't agree more. I guarantee while I'm in this position, there will not be a non-native tree planted in our parks.
You'll be here for a long time.
I hope so. That's all I got. Unless there are any questions, I will end with that.
Thanks, Sean. No, thanks, Sean.
I believe, Nick, you have something?
Good evening, Board of Directors. Nick Davis, Recreation Manager. You may have seen the Park District had a big refresh on their website. You're going to see a demo here from staff shortly, but I want to give credit to Ian Roberts and Mary Stokely for the amazing job they did with the website. They did 98% of the work, and it just turned out tremendous. So if you haven't seen the new website, check it out, but you will see a quick little demo here from Ian and Mary. So.
Thank you, Board of Directors. My name is Mary Stokely again, Recreation Coordinator. So as Nick mentioned, thank you. We did a complete redesign of our district website. Civic Plus is the software company that we work with, and in our contract, we were notified last year that we were due for a free upgrade. So they came to us, and this project began in April of last year. We put together a group which consisted of myself, Ian, and a few other members of staff to start initial conversations on what we felt the website was lacking, what things we wanted to see change, and just ultimately what we felt would be a better user experience for the community. Over time, our old website was becoming very inundated with information and too many links, too many clicks. So our goal was to make that a lot more simple. So Ian is showing you our main page. So when you visit forpd.org, this is the page that you will see firsthand. We are aiming towards going a lot more image focused as opposed to text-based images. We have our new icons that are very bright and clear. Our goal is, again, to minimize the amount of time people have to spend on our website to find where they are trying to go. And if you would mind going to the next section, I'm just going to show you a few of the page examples that we have. Of course, like Nick said, you can go ahead and check out the website. One of the changes we made is to our district staff and our contact us page. We did staff photos a few weeks ago and got them updated so that everybody had a fresh face and new image so that everyone can see and get a little bit more personal with our staff, so they can put a face to a name when they're contacting us and reaching out to us. We also did this to the Board of Directors page, and we plan to do an instructor highlight in the future as well. And you can go on to the next. Another page that we'd like to highlight is our facilities and rentals page. In mentioning that we're trying to condense the amount of information. This page that you're looking at used to be 3 different pages on the website. So we're working on condensing the information, giving everyone exactly what they need to know, using actionable buttons so that they can access applications easier, as well as embedding as many links as we possibly can into the website itself, so that people don't have to continue on outside of our website in order to accomplish a task, such as getting a facility. So this also kind of goes through, and we have a few parks that have 3D images, and so you can view them that way. The actual parks page itself has a Google map of all of our parks, so if someone were to want to know how to get directions from our website, They can click whichever park they'd like and they can get directions straight from there. And then some other examples of this are, our employment page. We have all of our open positions that we have right now, just a little plug for our rec positions and park aides. And we have embedded our application link right into the website. They can click apply for this job and it will take them straight to the application. They do not have to go outside into our application site. So it's all about making the experience easier and more accessible. And ADA accessibility was a huge driver of this whole redesign, because while Civic Plus helped us with the design and the look and making it pretty, we really had some challenges and we wanted to make sure that we were making everything as ADA accessible as possible. This is an example of one of our events pages. And so, like I said, we're kind of going to more image-based. There is text on these images, but it is ADA accessible with our alternate text. And this shows all of our events in a more simple manner, less text, less things to read through. And Ian, if you want to go to the Easter page, so this is our Easter extravaganza, which is coming up on April 8th. This is an example of, again, simplifying our events pages and our program pages so that everything's all in one spot. If you're a vendor, you can apply to become a vendor right there. If you want to get all the information and activities, you can view it there, as well as if you wanted to volunteer, you can sign up to do that right in the website. You don't have to visit an external link to do so. So that is essentially the main highlights of all of the things that we wanted to accomplish. Like I said before, if you'd like to check it out, please click through, view whatever pages you'd like, and is there any questions? Yes.
It's the process when you want to edit events or eliminate events, or you want to add stuff. How do you do that?
That's all things that we are able to do on our back end. This process has actually been really nice for Ian and I to go through, because we figured out a lot more things that him and I can do, as opposed to kind of feeling like we're stuck with the design. So these are all, everything that you see is changeable.
So when the extravaganza is over, I'm saying that. When that's over and you want to add a new event, who does that? One of the two of you?
One of the two of us. The supervisors who are in charge of their program are also able to edit the content, so the date, time, location, text, all of that. The layout and all of that, that's what Ian and I are responsible for.
So you don't have to go back to the company?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Mary, so on one of those pages at the bottom, there was sponsors. Can you go back there real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that just for the Easter extravaganza?
It was, yeah, that was specific to that. So we have a sponsorship page, and that, leads you to the events coordinator, Sabrina, or for arts and entertainment events, it would go to Danielle. But yeah, overall, and oh, sorry, I apologize, I misunderstood your question. That is what we feature, yeah, specific to events. So we add those in whenever we get a new sponsor for any event.
I'm wondering, because I've talked to a couple business owners that basically support anything I ask them to do that has to do with the park.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we incorporated a page like supporters of the district, supporters of our parks, and had a list of sponsors that we could, ask for revenue in support of.
To just stay on the page.
Yeah, to just stay on the page, and overall, just, hey, we support all the programs the park district does. It might be an easy way to get an additional few grand a year.
Definitely, yeah. I think that we have options for that if someone were to ask.
I mean, I know Paul Graywall over at Mountain Heights would sign up for something like that in a second. Like, he's just great. He's like, Darren, anything you guys do, just let me know. I'll support it.
Yeah. So that's
So a little marketing up front, that if you want to sponsor any of our events, either call or put your information in right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Always market, always get more money.
Absolutely.
It looks great.
It really looks awesome.
Yeah.
I love the graphics too.
Yeah, we really tried to make it very visual. And then just side note, most people that access our website are using their mobile phone. And so that was a huge part of what we considered when we put together the pages and the layout, was just to make sure that it also matched what you're seeing when you're looking on a mobile device. So, yeah.
Some things you have to be on a laptop to make it.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
Thank you.
And I just want to chime in a little bit because this is a tough job, and it's a tough job that they're doing, and it's a tough job because all of us have an idea too. And so they did a great job in marrying those things together and making a wonderful project. So
Warren's appreciation.
Just want to check in and see if, Daniil, if you had anything?
Daniil Whitmore, Arts and Entertainment Manager. I wanted to thank the board that came together last week for the special meeting to approve the grant application. I wanted to let you know that we hit the button successfully before it was due. On Monday, we asked for $50,000 to support chairs and chair risers to benefit the Black Box. We had some wonderful letters of support, just so you know, Director Carhart and from the community. We kind of pre-wrote them and they made them their own as they wanted to, but at least give them some ideas. That deadline, that award will come down sometime in June. That will go to a county supervisors meeting for recommendations. So that will go to that county supervisors meeting at Sacramento, and then the award will actually be administered in July. So it's in their, they're rolling over into their fiscal year. The event team for a garden dinner for the arts, thank you for those of you who've already bought your tickets, met yet today, and with some assistance from Sabrina, Nick, and the rest of the crew, we've got it. We're still rolling really well on the event, and there's about $17,000 in sponsorships already in place. We are not done yet with looking for sponsors, so I just wanted to give you that update on both of those.
That's aside from the ticket sales.
That's additional to the ticket sales.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then Jennifer.
I don't.
And you? Okay. I don't have much. I just want to give you a construction update. You have asked for that. I'll tell you what's going on as of today. There are some steel supports for our community center that have been erected. They're standing up, and we're starting to put the cross beams on, and that's happening, which is kind of exciting to go upstairs instead of just staying on the ground. And that's going on. Today, the lumber was delivered. That's the first large delivery of lumber we've seen. So that's exciting to me because that's building, right? It's going to start happening. So we will start building the community building once those steel supports get back up. A little bit about the steel supports and the challenges we're having. We have a 70-foot cross beam that's coming, or length of the building beam. I'm not sure what that actual verbiage is, but it's coming and it's supposed to be here Tuesday. We're looking at weather. We're watching weather carefully. We have built a ramp up to the community center foundation with a port foundation where that truck should be able to drive up there, and then we should be able to unload those 70-foot beams, cross beams. We tested that today, and you can probably go over there and look at it. It is still too moist. we almost sunk our giant forklift on it, so we're going back and recompacting it, and we know we've got rain coming between now and Tuesday, so I'm not sure how that delivery will
They're not going to drive up on the concrete, are they?
No, they're going to get up there and unload that piece of equipment. It is something that you can't move very far. It's going to have to be craned and lifted into place. So it's a challenge right now because of the weather.
Sure.
But again, the neat thing to me is that the fact we got the lumber. I wanted to share a little bit about our construction firm and what they're doing for the community as well. They initially had asked about putting all the lumber into the parking spots that are parallel there on California, right across from the brew pub and the salons and the restaurants there, and then closing that parking while they take that lumber and start building our community center. It would have been closed for quite a while. We had a great dialogue. They came up with an alternative solution. It's going to be a lot more work, but it's going to work. And so that those parking stalls will remain open, and we're storing the lumber on site and different locations, and basically we'll leapfrog those locations toward the pad as we move forward. So the whole team is aware of the impact that we have on the village and the impact that you all don't want on the village as well, and we're trying to mitigate as best as we can.
So the 70-foot beams, are those over the Black Box Theater or over the community center?
I'm not exactly sure of the structural design of those, but 70 feet is going to be,
Incredible beams.
yeah, that might be the full length.
They're all blue lamb beams.
I do know.
That's fine.
Yes. Here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's really
demolishing the lot.
expands.
They're working on the electric, while it was raining the last couple of days, they've been working inside the clubhouse. Not a lot of folks, because we don't have a lot of people with those skill sets in there. But we are working on the electrical work, so there's switches going in, there's fans going in, there's all those interior things that don't look very exciting, but they're going in. The new door frames are up inside, which is exciting. And then once the rain stops, if it does stop for another day, we are going to continue with the sewer and water work to the community center. So we'll see some disruptions right around that. Nothing that'll disrupt the businesses, but just single lane closures for a little bit while we work on those things. And then we'll also be doing additional site grading if it dries out enough. I don't anticipate that to happen though. Here's what's happening with it sequentially. You get a couple of days of rain, you get one day of nice weather like today, and tomorrow it's going to rain. It doesn't dry the site out. All it does is just give you one nice day, but it doesn't dry the site off enough. So we're seeing that we've been seeing that for a while, this same pattern. For a couple of days of nice weather and then rain.
Mother Nature's not been nice to us.
It's not raining tomorrow.
Yeah, and I asked them specifically today about a rain extension. Are we going to see another extension? Because we have seen one, so we are now set for January 2024. They've said they're not asking for one yet, even with what we've currently had, which has been a substantial amount of rain in February and in early March. But they are aware of the fact that we're starting to compress our workload. And if something else goes wrong, even though it may not be raining, they may seek an extension. So I just want you to be aware of this, we're not out of the woods yet on an additional extension. So we're playing everything by ear at this point. And again, I have complete faith in them and their abilities to do the job. So.
And if we given you the discretion, delegated that to extend, we don't have to come back and deal with it.
We've never talked about that specifically. If you want to have that authority, I don't have any problem bringing it to you. That's fine.
Just curious.
Yeah. If that's something you choose to have that authority over, I'm fine.
Well, we have no control over it anyway.
No, we don't. If you said no, it's like, I'm not sure what we would do.
Well, I mean, isn't they're asking for an extension so they don't have to pay a penalty?
Pay the penalty.
So why would we not potentially, if we felt that it was something in control? I'm not saying with this, we might make
right,
things,
absolutely.
but if we feel that it is something that's within their control, I don't want to give them an extension without a penalty.
Correct on that. And at this point, it's just been weather related.
Rain delay, right?
Yeah, and
rain delay, mud.
Yeah.
Inability to get to the workplace.
Yeah, we can't even get into work, so it's.
Liquidated damages are usually there to prevent slaggards.
Yeah.
Some contractors sit on the job.
And if I'm hearing what you're saying, if there's something besides these weather events, that I should be bringing that to the board. I will do that if that situation presents itself. So again, hopefully it won't. Hopefully this is the last weather thought we're going to have on this one.
Have you had the engineers out to look at the clubhouse leakage yet?
I haven't heard. I'll hear that probably tomorrow. They've been out there.
Mike, who's responsible for the security of materials, the lumber, like this big order that you said's coming in? Is it us or is it the construction?
It's the construction company. And they, over the time, they've lost a little bit of material and equipment since they started. But they definitely they're doing a pretty good job with security.
You stole all the chickens, though.
They're popping up.
That is all I have.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll adjourn to our next regular meeting, April 19th, 2023 at 6 p.m.